going on, everybody? This is Fry. So today we found this Reddit post. It's by P Lover. He's always been pretty accurate in the past, I think. So I guess this is going to happen. Some updated balance changes to PvZ Heroes. Really was not expecting this to happen, but really hope it does. Anything that'll change the meta, kind of mix it up a little bit would be really, really nice. So again, none of these are confirmed, but it seems like several people have actually gone into the server where the developers kind of like test new stuff, and they found that a lot of the cards they were testing out some new things. So maybe some of these will fall through and they're not going to happen, but at least these are the changes which are on the table. I'm going to go through them one by one, discuss why I think it's either a good change or a bad change, my reaction to it, and without further ado, Deep Sea Gargantuar is one of the cards that's been buffed so many times. It used to be a 6/6 Garg in the water. Now it's a 7/7. They're turning it into a 7/8. I don't think there's any amount, to be honest, stats of a 6-cost card that doesn't really have any kind of ability when you play it. That's really going to make a difference. So I don't think it's going to end up being competitive at 7/8. But hey, you know, as better as you can make the beastie class, which is always like the worst class of the zombie side, basically has always been the better. So hey, just buff it. Why not? All right, Sergeant Strongberry. Now, anyone who's been playing this game this year has definitely knows that you know, ever since Strawberryan came into the card base, berry decks have been incredibly powerful. Particularly the Spadao berry deck. You can find that on YouTube in this channel. So the Sergeant Strongberry was one of the most important cards in this deck, being a 4/4. Very difficult to remove. It becomes a 4/3. It just makes a lot more things can remove it. Wrath, for example, on the zombie side. There's just a lot of things that have 3 attack. 4 is kind of the magic number to make it into like a big health card. So I definitely like seeing Sergeant Strongberry being nerfed. Laser Beam is a card that I think back in the olden days, like in budget decks, Laser Beam was competitive. It was a 6-cost 4/6 most recently. And turning this into a 5/7 makes this a really, really strong card. It does have Strike Through, of course, so if you really want to make like a Strike Through finishers, you can use your Power Flowers or your Astracados on turn 5. Do 3 or 5 damage strike through. Making this a 5/7 is a really, really big card. Laser Beam, actually, I think this could actually be quite competitive as a 6-cost 5/7 strike through. Briar Rose, finally! This has been the most broken card. I'd say together with Valkyrie, which is going to be coming up soon. Briar Rose costs 4. It used to cost 6 back in the days, and it was too slow. For some reason, instead of making it cost 5, it made it cost 4. It single-handedly made the Solar class like the best class in the game. Super, super happy to see Briar Rose cost 5. I think that's the right amount. It's still going to be a very competitive card. Don't get me wrong, but you're going to have to find things to fill the 4 slot in, so there's going to be a lot more Wingnuts, which anyway, I absolutely love this, and Briar Rose definitely was way too cheap at 4. Keep it going. So Rocket Science, from going a Science trick, it'll be a Science Barrel trick. So the only thing this is going to do is put it into the either of cards, which it's possible to get from Barrel of Barrels. Apparently Barrel of Barrels is going to get nerfed also, but anyway. Unless someday they'll make a Barrel Synergy card, that will be great. Mad Chemist from 3/4. This is another card that's just been useless. It used to be like a 4-cost 2/3 Gravestone. Again, when you play a trick, it'll conjure a card. They made it into a 3/4. It's still not competitive. Now they're going to try making it into a 3/5. I wish they would actually make Mad Chemist have some sort of mechanic that would make it viable in a Miracle deck that would be able to draw more than 1 card per turn. Even making it slightly more expensive and have it be unlimited, because it's just conjuring random tricks. It's not like you're going to guarantee get a card in your deck or anything like that and make crazy combos. I really think Mad Chemist, the only thing to make it competitive would be unlimited cards. The fact it can draw... Again, it's still a 4-cost Gravestone, 3/5, so it's like mess stats, and then high maintenance can, if you play a trick, it'll draw you another trick, and that trick, the trick you conjure might not even be good, so I don't think this is going to make it competitive. Alright, Valkyrie, going from a 3-cost to a 4-cost. Finally, Valkyrie is, on the zombie side, has always been the most broken card. OTK Valk, just put a lot of little minions on the field, and then you come in with teleport your Valkyries in. 3 cost was just way too much. Even the Valkyrie, it was a 0/6 and it grows by 2 every time one of your guys dies. It's so easily a 3 cost 6/6. It's just so ridiculous. And making this 4 makes it a little more balanced. Really, really happy to see this changes. Tomb Raiser is another card that has been really underpowered. It used to be a 2-3, the made into a 2-4. It was still not good enough. It's still a liability having your deck, still a little hitter. So having free attack, I guess that makes it a little better. I don't know if it'll be competitive. I'd love to see Tomb Raiser Zombie be a little more of a competitive card. It is very, very fun. All right, keep it going. Mirror Nut is another card that, again, used to be a 0-6. They tried making a 0-7, so making a 0-8. It just makes it that much better with Picanolith. Again, the whole problem with Mirror Nut is the fact it does it. First of all, the fact it does its damage very slowly. It really requires you to have a lot of other nuts on the field, very high maintenance, and it can just be removed by Rolling Stone and Weed Spray. Obviously, giving it a little bit of extra health doesn't help any of those problems. I don't think this is going to just make Mirror Nut competitive by getting 1 extra health, but hey, why not take a fun, crummy card and try to make it slightly better? Captain Flameface. It's turning into a Gravestone. Again, that's a 2-4, that's a 3-cost 2-4 pirate. It gives all your pirates strike through, and I think giving it a Gravestone is actually very significant. First of all, since Monkey Pirate came into the meta, that's the 2-cost sneaky Gravestone, which is a pirate. Pirates have synergy with Gravestones. If you're on Headstone Carver on 1, you could then go, Swashbuckler and Monkey for your 2 drops, and then your 3 drops. Really be nice to have another 3-cost Gravestone. So that would be a 2-4 strike through. It makes all your pirates strike through, and being a Gravestone, I think that will really complete the deck. It can run Stealthy Imp, which is also a pirate, will also benefit from the synergy. So I actually like that. I think that's a really cool one. Trick or Treater becoming a Gravestone is cool. It makes it not able to be removed by cards like Berry Blast. I don't know if this is going to make Trick or Treater good, though. Again, at the end of the day, it will be a 3-cost, 2-3 Gravestone, horrible stats, and then it will draw cards. It draws pretty good cards, but sometimes, maybe this will create some, it only draws 1 card per turn. Maybe this will create some potential for making Miracle decks where you get a bunch of the treats in your hand, but I don't think this is going to make it competitive. All right, Planet of the Grapes. Going from a 2-cost card to a 3-cost card. This is so significant because of Cycle Cap. You can find that on YouTube. I also call it the Nightcap Swarm deck over there. So the Planet of the Grapes is one of the most important parts of that deck. You put Astroshroom or Admiral Navy Bean into the Planet of the Grapes and then play a bunch of minions and they keep hitting the face. Making you have to spend 3 on Planet of the Grapes will be a real big blow to the deck. I think it still will be a competitive deck. That is Cycle Cap, but I think this is going to make it a little bit more fair because 2 cost was just way too good. Amazing. Bog will go from a 3-cost to 2-cost. Oh, yeah! All hail our Lord and Savior, the Bog. I really like this. This will make amphibious decks hopefully that much better. Amphibious decks have always been garbage, so really excited to see that. Solar Winds going from a 2-cost to a 3-cost. Wow. So not only did they nerf Briar Rose, they also nerf Solar Winds. One of the best combos, probably the best combo in the entire game, was Solar Winds on 2, Briar Rose on 3. And now Solar Winds costs 3. It's going to totally ruin Ramp, which, by the way, is my favorite sort of type of deck, along with Miracle. So it looks like Ramp is getting nerfed so badly. But at the end of the day, it was so OP. It was so broken. Solar Winds is also really good with Cob Cannon on turn 6. Could just cover one of Ramp up to and cover one of the Sunflowers and destroy something. So this will be a huge blow to the Ramp decks. Keep it going. Overstuffed Zombie. So this originally was a 3/5, and then it grows by 2 health and heals itself every single time it eats a plant. Now it's a 4/4. That's interesting. I guess it really doesn't need that initial 5 health because it's so easy to grow in health. Do I think this is going to make Overstuffed Zombie into a really competitive card? I don't know. Anyway, keep it going. Neutron Imp. Instead of being a 2-cost 2/3, I think Neutron Imp is a pretty decent deck. We've made a few good decks with Neutron Imp, combining it with Giganticus and Mime Guard. But anyway, this becoming a 1-cost 2/2. This could end up making Mime Guard specifically an extremely powerful card because it makes it such a cheap way of activating your bonus attacks. Interdimensional Zombie goes from a 1/3 to a 2/2. I don't really see a necessity for this. I think a 1/3 is actually better because it just makes it so hard to remove on turn 1. And then, you get a random 3-drop. It usually ends up being like a 3/2 on average. I don't really see a need to buff or nerf Interdimensional Zombie. I don't see a need for it at all. Maybe this makes it better because at least it doesn't charge your opponent's block meter with 1 on the first turn. I don't understand. Right, Disco Knot. So it used to be that zombies with 3 or less attack at bullseye. Now it's zombies with 2 or less attack at bullseye. This seems really strange. I don't think Disco Knot really is that competitive of a card anymore. It used to be a 2-2. They made it into a 2-1. There's a couple of things that happened, though. Not only did Disco Knot get nerfed to 1 health, but also Strawberryan was created. And Strawberryan is one of the big... really, the berry decks is the main reason why Disco Knot kind of went out of business. Because Disco Knot relied on having a lot of little minions. And being able to, make them all bullseye was too good. But this already got nerfed as a 2-1. I guess berry decks are getting nerfed now, so they feel like they have to put another nerf on Disco Knot. I don't even know. Keep it going. Final mission being nerfed, becoming a 2-cost card is another reason, by the way, that Disco Knot is worse, because you don't have that, nice, synergy with your little minions as final mission. But anyway, so it used to be a science trick, now it's a science barrel trick. They're just adding more barrels to the game. Garg Throwing Imp, going from being a 1-2 to a 2-2. Okay, that's nice. We actually found some really decent uses with Garg Throwing Imp, particularly with hunting grounds. You can find that's one of the actually most viewed YouTube videos on the channel. Is it's like Splash Garg Boogaloo or something like that. But anyway, so really nice to see Garg Throwing Imp to be a little bit buffier. I don't think 2-2 makes it unfair. If anything, it makes it a little bit more powerful independently. So keep it going. Cryo Yeti is now a Gravestone. Oh, that just became a good card. Cryo Yeti is, again, 5-cost card. It's a 3-4, and it grows by 2-2 every time you freeze a zombie. The problem with Cryo Yeti as being a 5-cost zombie is that it just can only freeze the plants that were played on previous turns, on turn 4 or earlier. Now, the main part of the Gravestone is not to protect it. The main part of the Gravestone is that now it can pop up and freeze what they play on turn 5. It becomes a reactive card. This would turn Cryo Yeti into an almost useless card into, I think, this could end up being a very competitive card now. I mean, think about it. It's a 5-6 that controls your opponent. It'll either make a good trade if you freeze a plant that's matched up against a zombie, it'll prevent it from attacking, or it'll just stall for time and protect your face. This seems like a huge buff to what was before a very useless card. Keep it going. Hippity Hop Garg, again, was very weak. It does have the active ability of throwing around eggs. I'd love to see this be a 6-5, get a little extra buff. This is nice. Maybe even can make it a deck with ZMAC where you go and use Gargologist on 2 and then Hippity Hop on 3. Being a 6-5 definitely makes it a lot better. More potential for itself and for the eggs. Atomic Pomegranate. So this is I think it's a 5-cost card. It's way too expensive. And it's only a 4-2. And then, when it explodes, it makes seedlings, but if the lanes next to it are clogged, it's just way too slow. Making it to a 5-2 is not going to make this into a competitive card. I guess it can remove a 5-health minion now. It can counter the Hippity Hop Garg, but really the thing that has to happen in Atomic Pomegranate is to become become cheaper. I think it ends up being a 5-cost. It's not a 6-cost card, no, it's a 5. Anyway, Sunflower Seed, a very powerful removal card. It does 3 damage. It was a 3-1, and then it would die and create a sunflower and help you ramp up. So they're just totally ruining every single ramp solar thing going on. Turning this into a 2-2 makes it much worse because, again, it can't remove your opponent's plays as easily. Can't be used as that control card, control ramp card. Now it's only has 2 attacks, so it's fine. Sunflower Seed was... Anyway, it seems like ramp is dead on the solar side anyway, so who cares? Barrel of Barrels, going from a 1-cost card to a 2-cost card, sort of sticking with the theme of, there's been a few 1-cost cards like Final Mission. The other one was Escape Through Time that used to cost 1, were these really, really powerful support cards. And Barrel of Barrels, it really is very good. It conjures you a card, it makes one of your guys deadly, guaranteeing that it makes a good matchup. It's great with Doctor Who, so... Anyway, if Barrel of Barrels cost 2, I think that's legit. Fireweed. Fireweed, again, is one of the best cards in the game. You used to be able to play this as a 3-3 on Heights on turn 2, which is ridiculous tempo. And it has the opportunity to also be played on the ground to cover your opponent's environment. So, Fireweed going from a 3-3 to 3-2. This is just fair. This is still a competitive card, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, the fact, again, on heights it's a 2-cost 3-2, and on the ground it's still a 3-2, a 3-1, let's say, that creates an environment. So this is still a really good card, even though it got a huge, hefty nerf. Super happy to see Fireweed become fair. Ridiculous card, by the way. Transfiguration going from 3-7 to 4. So it started off as a 2-7, then 3-7, now 4-7. Hey, I love to see Transfiguration become a little more competitive. Who knows? Maybe in Wall Knight, this will start taking the place of Briar Rose or something like that. I don't know. Alright, Marine Bean. Used to be a 2-4 when played. This gets 2 attack for each other plant in the water. Now it's a 3-2 and when played. This gets 1-1 for each other amphibious plant. Dang! So that's... It used to be one reason Marine Bean was bad is it really relied on guys being only in the water. Now it grows by a lot. I mean, if you have 2 other amphibious plants, this would be a 3-cost 5-4. This is a really high potential. I'd like to see what happens. I'm not sure this is going to be amazing, but anyway. Shelf Shroom went from a 2-3 to a 2-2. Shelf Shroom wasn't even a good card to begin with. This is used in berry decks. I don't even run them in the berry decks. I think this is a little bit misguided. I think the reason Shelf Shroom had such a high win rate is because it was always indexed with Strawberry and Stars and Strongberry. I don't actually think Shelf Shroom's a very good card. But anyway, is this real? There's a couple of things like Shelf Mushroom that's making me think, like an interdimensional zombie. Making me skeptical, but what can I say? Strawberryan, here's a card that needed a nerf. 3-3 when play berry, do 1 damage to zombies here next door. Now it's a 3-2 when you play a berry, do 1 damage to zombies only next door, not here. So it can actually protect itself. Makes it a lot more vulnerable. Makes it, only do 2/3 of the ability damage. And it's also only a 3-2, so it can be removed by Bungee Plumber now. Dang, that's a huge nerf. That is a huge nerf to a card which really carried berry decks to the top of the meta. Berry decks are really easy to counter now. Bungee Plumber is just becoming such a better card with every single patch. Bungee Plumber is so good now. It counters, Haunted Pumpkin. Anyway, typical Beanstalk used to be a 4-4-4, and then when played next to a Leafy Pan, draw a card. Now it's a 3-3-3 when played next to a Leafy Pan, conjure a Leafy card. I don't know. Again, a 4-cost card draw card is way too slow, so I guess typical Beanstalk being a card draw card on 3 is better. Has a little conjure synergy, so maybe it'll work well with Captain Cucumber. That Leafy card will be a little bit less. In fact, it goes to a Leafy card, though. Obviously, drawing a card is better. I don't know why they had to change it to a Leafy card. But anyway, Duck Stash was an otherwise useless card. It used to be a 2-2 that can grow by 2-2 if you put out another Mustache, making it a 3-2. Make this to a competitive card. This is a nice card draw card now, actually. Duck Stash 3-2. And it conjures, whenever it does damage, it conjures a Mustache. Turquoise Skull Zombie. It went from a 2-4 to a 2-5. Now we'll try it at 2-6. I don't know if this is ever going to really be worth it. Maybe we should make it to a 3-6. Chum Champion, going from a 3-4 to a 4-4. Another very underpowered legendary. This one played on another sports card has an ability, but that's sacrificing a sports card. Making this to a 4-4 should be fine. Unthawed Viking, another underpowered card from a 4-3 to a 4-4, like that. And Frankatois, going from 5-5 to 5-7. So trying to make that viable again. The Frankatar grows every single time one of your other guys die. So it was just a 5-5. It was really vanilla card. I don't know if making a 5-7, again, it doesn't really have any abilities besides for having good stats. So that's usually the problem with every single zombie, that Gargs, that's the reason they're weak, is because they don't have an ability. Giving this some a more active ability would obviously make it a lot better. Anyway, these are the rumored nerfs and buffs. I think a lot of these, particularly nerfing the solar class and the berries and cycle cap, I mean, we're going to have to rely more heavily on some other types of archetypes for the plant decks. Time to start getting creative. I think Briar Rose decks will still be okay. Maybe that Solar Winds is also nerfed, so maybe it won't be okay. But I think aggro decks on the plant side are going to come back to being the strongest decks, like aggro Solar Flare, aggro Walnut. You can find all these on YouTube. Those are not being touched at all. If anything, they're getting better with Laser Beam becoming a good card that can be used as a finisher in an aggro deck. And Bungee Plumber is, at the end of the day, Bungee Plumber hasn't been buffed or nerfed, but it's it's probably the best zombie trick now. It seriously, it deals with so many things that it used to not deal with, particularly the Strawberrian. Anyway, and it's going to become better because the plants are going to be relying so heavily on Haunted Pumpkin, the 1-cost 4/2. Bungee Plumber is really the answer to that. Bungee Plumber is just auto-include in every deck. I think really the aggro decks on the plant side are gonna make a comeback. But anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed. That was the reaction to the supposed buffs and nerfs. Maybe if this is opening a door to some stat changes, maybe we'll get some new cards in this game. I'm actually getting optimistic now. I don't know. I've heard from several sources, though, that this is definitely floating around the dev server, so please, PopCap, whatever you add to this game, don't give up on us. That would be amazing. Hopefully we'll see some new event cards and maybe even a set 5. Who even knows? Hope you guys enjoyed. Peace. This is Fry.